Peace, family, and welcome to this edition of the Reading and Writing in the Dark podcast. I'm your host, Ayapo Yapa, and I'm the author of Melanin, a novel, presently available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. You can get it on Barnes & Noble for the Nook device, or you can get the hardcover or softcover editions. The same thing is true for Amazon. On Amazon, you can get it for the Kindle, and you can get it hardcover or softcover. If you don't own an actual Kindle device or a Nook device, you can download for free the Kindle or Nook app, and with that, you can basically read anything that's Kindle or Nook on your computer or on your tablet or whatever devices it is that you're using, even your smartphone. So get out there and get Melanin. It's an awesome story. Has all 5-star reviews. I don't have any control of that. It is a great story, and it is for Black Us, written by people who love Black Us. Also on the Amazon platform, I have short stories that I'm going to be talking about today. It's in the Keepin a Buck series, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. And I also have on a platform called Kindle Vella a series that's called Surviving the Worst. Surviving the Worst is exactly what it sounds like. It's about 3 Black people who are trying to survive. It's more than a zombie apocalypse. It's a zombie apocalypse. It's a vampire apocalypse. It's a dinosaur apocalypse. It's a mythical creature apocalypse. I mean, everything is happening in this world and in this environment. And it is turning into a really, really good read. The story is complex, has a lot going on, and I have some really big plans for it. When you go to the Kindle Vella, you can read these stories. And I guess I should apologize for this at the very beginning. Angela, my wife, is in the front room, and she is presently coaching English. She does that. And so it sounds she may be kind of loud in the background. I apologize for that in advance, but if you hear someone talking loud in the background, that's my wife. I'm back there in the back room. Anyway, I have Surviving the Worst on Kindle Vella, and my wife has I Declare Love on Kindle Vella. I Declare Love is a Black love story. She doesn't write in my same genre, and it's a really good story. If you want to check that out on Kindle, it is I and then Declare, D-E, and then spelled like the name Claire, C-L-A-I-R-E, and then Love. I Declare Love by Angela Riley on Kindle Vella. Now, the first 3 episodes of anything in Kindle Vella are absolutely free to read because they're episodic. They are short reads. The longest of them might be the equivalent of maybe 3 or 4 pages of written work, and some are as short as like a page. What the heck was that? Anyway, all kinds of stuff goes on around here. Anyway, you have that. There is also a story called Since I Seent You, SEEN''T-U, by a writer named Ayoka B. Now, Ayoka is spelled A-Y-O-K-A, but it's pronounced Ayoka. But it's spelled A-Y-O-K-A, and a B as in boy. And the story is called Since I Seent You. And that's a very good story. It's completed. right now, my story, Angela's story, still are ongoing with the episodes. Since I Think You is a completed story. So you'll want to check that out. There's also a story called After 19 Years by Madame Precious M. A. M. Wait a minute, I'm getting it wrong. M. A. D. M. Precious. And her story is After 19 Years. So you'll want to check that out. The first episode is presently up on Kindle Vella also. She may have to pull it down because she's reorganizing. She was putting up 3 episodes, or she had put up 3 episodes, and the first one went up fine, and then there was a little problem with the other 2. So she's having to not redo the writing, but just redo the upload. But as far as I know, because I just checked this morning, her work is still up there also. We gotta keep supporting these black writers. There are writers like Charles L. Chapman, CHATMON, Chatman. So, and his the book of his that I've read so far is Storm Over South Central, and it's very good. It has it's a book of poetry, and has some. I was surprised. It has some short stories in it also. So that's worth grabbing and reading. Also, there is you have Anjali Shabazz, who has written This Black. I can't say enough good about the book. Read her reviews. Go online, and there are reviews of her book online. Get This Black, and then she has written the sequel, which is This Black Nation. Both available on Amazon, and also available on 25000yearcycle.net. That is her King's website. They have a lot to offer there, but you can also go there to purchase her books at a considerable discount. There's a book called Furnace of Affliction, and it is a radiation cures book. For those who know or those who don't know, the world has been irradiated because of the disaster called Fukushima in Japan. And it happened over a decade ago, and it's been spewing radiation ever since. It has not stopped. So you'll want to check that out. The book is important. It's a non-fiction book. Her other 2 books are works of fiction, but they're like the way that I write this, like fiction that has a lot of fact to it. Furnace of Affliction is all non-fiction. I don't know what's going on with me this morning, but it's all non-fiction, and it is, like I said, it's a book that every person, especially every black person, should have in their library if they don't have anything else. And you can also find that on Amazon. But if you go to 25000yearcycles.net, not .com, .net, you will find that book, and you'll find This Black Nation, and Furnace of Affliction at a considerable discount than you would get it on Amazon, and the proceeds go directly to the author, who also circulate that money within the black community. So there's that, and there's also The Path to Brightness. That is T.J. Riley. The Path to Brightness, when I read that book, it was definitely a page turner for me. I'm not a fast reader, But that one I couldn't put down. And it wasn't because it was a hard read that I'm saying what I'm saying. It's because it was just so good. I was at it every night and finished it in a few days, which is something for me. And it's not like a gargantuan book, but it is a substantial book. And it was good. It was entertaining. It was thought-provoking. It was challenging. Some of the parts pushed against my belief systems and so on. And it was just a really good read, extremely well written. I recommend the book to anyone. It is called The Path to Brightness, and the author is T.J. Riley. You can find that book on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. So, having said all that, I'm pretty far in, but I want to talk about my book, or my series of short stories. Now, I wrote a collection of short stories called Paradigm Void, and I was waiting to just go on and release that. But as it turns out, I was like, I have all these stories finished here, and most of them are edited already. And my wife was doing the editing, and we were going over them, several times. And I was like, I really would like for these to be out there. And I decided that what I would do is start releasing them as short stories and selling them for $1 a piece. At the end of that, I'll put them all back together the way that I intended in the first place in the book, The Paradigm Void. And it'll be 10 short stories of theoretical urban fiction as planned. And there will be one never before published story in that. But the 10 stories in there, I'm doing what I'm calling keeping it a buck, because it's a buck literally and figuratively. Keeping it a buck because it only costs $1 per story, and keeping it a buck as in the stories are pro-black and they are written with respect, honor, and love for our people. And I think that that's something that's sadly lacking out here right now. I've gotten to where I barely watch anything anymore. And it's just the truth of it. I barely watch anything anymore, and sometimes have trouble reading things if I'm not sure about the author, because at some point I know, especially when it comes to media like movies and television shows or series that are on some of the streaming services, I know that at some point along the line they're going to insult me. I know as a black man, as a black person, at some point they're going to insult me. That's not even a maybe. And so I've gotten to where I don't even watch anymore, because I've gotten tired of seeing it. And that's one of the reasons I write, is because I'm trying to present things to our people that you can read it and know that you're not going to get some pop-up surprise of some backhanded insult to our people, and talking about us like we're dirt, or presenting us in a way that we're just all jacked up, just like the narrative that they've always had. And it's time that we work to take control of our narrative. That's something I'm working toward. My wife, Anjali Shabazz, and it's not like we're the first doing it. During the Harlem Renaissance, they were doing the same thing. It's been happening for decades, but I'm just saying, once again, there needs to be another wave of it, a new concerted effort to grab hold of our narrative, everybody else keeps strong hold of their narrative. And there are some who you can't even say the most benign little thing about, and you know who I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. You say the most benign thing possible, and they disappear you. I don't mean like physically kill you. They erase you from media. They cut you off from your money. They do everything to you and just to make you freaking disappear. If you just say the most, I know I'm repeating myself, the most benign thing. And what I'm telling you is that is part of controlling your narrative, as opposed to with our people, everybody day and night, 24/7, 25/8, 366, 67 on leap years, can talk about all they want. Black people, dog us out, degrade us, berate us all day long, and we can outcry as much as we want, and it's just allowed to continue. As a matter of fact, it's promoted. If you look at some of the music now, it's promoted black hate. And so it's when it comes to that, that means that we have zero control of our narrative right now. Everybody else has control of their narrative. Say something sideways about the alphabet community. Say something sideways about you know who. Look at the fact, I even have to say you know who. See what I mean? That is control of your narrative. Whereas with us, you can make a freaking documentary and basically berate us all the way through it, and it explodes. Yeah, I'm talking about Candace Owens. Yeah, and the thing explodes and is embraced and widely distributed and everything else. That's because we have no control of our narrative. And the only way we're going to get control of our narrative is if we patronize black people who are doing the work to get control of our narrative. And the other part of that is, when I talk about us getting control of our narrative, the purpose of it is so that we black people who love, honor, respect black people, because all skin folk and kinfolk, and all people, and I'm talking about black people, don't love, honor, respect us. I'm not talking about skin folk. I'm talking about black people who love, honor, and respect black people. I'm talking about black people who are proud to be black people. I mean proud to be black people. We're the ones who are writing and need to be writing and putting out media and putting out things for our people. And frankly, as far as I'm concerned, this is just me personally, I couldn't care less what anybody else thinks of us. All I care about is how our people feel about our people. And that's it. How our people feel about our people. How our people view our people. How our people are perceived by our people. That's all I care about. And that's it. Couldn't care less. What are white folks going to think about? Who cares? Who cares? Except someone who cares about trying to be all up in this system, as opposed to someone like me who wants to be separated from it. So, all of that being said, we are producing content that is for Black us, by Black us who love Black us. And so, again, I actually came on because I wanted to talk about the Keepin of the Buck series. It's pretty simple. It's theoretical ebb and fiction. I don't use the term Afrofuturism because a white man coined the phrase. I ain't using that. I don't want their stuff. I want our stuff. So, anyway, they're stories of theoretical ebb and fiction. They're quick reads. You can read it sitting in some kind of a waiting room someplace, or if you're about to go to bed, or if you're just hanging out, you just want to read something for a few minutes, because they're quick reads. They're short stories. And I, myself, even if I do say so myself, they're phenomenal stories. I wouldn't write anything I wouldn't want to read. So they're from the Keepin of the Buck series. The first story is Paradigm Void. Not Paradigm Void. The first story, the whole series is from Paradigm Void. But the first story is called Person Zero. The second story is called Scars. And the story that's coming out this Friday coming up is called A Piece, P-E-A-C-E, A Piece of Darkness. I had to remember that one correctly. But they're all just such phenomenal stories. And after A Piece of Darkness, other stories are going to follow. Each Friday, their stories are actually all done. There's a couple of them that still need to be edited. I have a couple personal favorites in there, but I know that you'll enjoy them. And like I said, they're only $1. And when you're using that dollar or paying that dollar, you're supporting Black writers who love Black us. So that's about it. Visit my website, ayapoyapa.com. You can see all the books that I've written. You can see the books that I'm working on. And there's links to basically everything, because I have the Reading and Writing in the Dark newsletter. It's absolutely free every month. And yeah, absolutely free, no strings. And with that story, or with that subscription to the newsletter, you get a free download of the short story, Moanesis, the Oak Tree. I think I'm going to get a few people to actually give testimonials about that story, because people are loving that frickin' story. I like it. That's the reason that I actually made it a freebie when you sign up, or a thank you for when I sign up, because it's one of my favorite stories. Moanesis the Oak Tree. It's a weird name for a story, but it's an awesome story. And I only know a couple people of everybody who's read it who said that they didn't cry after they read it, or when they read it. I'm all man. I cried while I was writing the freaking thing, but oddly, people didn't cry at the part where I felt so bad in it. They typically say that it was this different part, and I just find that kind of interesting. But anyway, when you sign up for the free newsletter, then that gets you a download of that for free, and that's also a story from the Paradigm Void. So when you do sign up for the newsletter, the way it does is after you put in your email address and your name, then it gives you an email that has the link to the download of Moanesis the Oak Tree. So just remember that. It doesn't like you click it and then it's right there on the screen. You have to go to the email that you inputted into the information. So there's that. And you're listening to the Reading and Writing in the Dark podcast, so you know that's there. When you go to my website, you can also see my art, which I'm a cartoonist. I was a professional cartoonist for years, for decades. And also, my music is up there. And my music, some people like it, some people are like, but I like my music. So, and I like writing and playing and, love playing the harmonica. None of the songs have the harmonica in it. But anyway, I'm getting off track. This is Reading and Writing in the Dark. I just want to thank all of you for listening. Please support Black writers. We're out here doing the work. We're trying to, I'm going to say we're out here grabbing and wrestling control of our own narrative. We're taking control of our own narrative because I, like many other Black people, are tired of white people or other people who hate us giving our people our narrative. So all of that said, thank you for listening. I will talk to you soon. If you are a reader, you keep on reading. And if you're a writer, keep on writing. Peace.